Okay. Alright, so it's going right now, and all you gotta do is point it at me. Okay? Alright. Yeah, just for today, that's fine.
Who's actually?
Choke her up.
Alright. We're taking tennis.
Oh, Tara's smart, y'all.
Austin's not here.
Shondella's still in here.
What? Yes.
Don't put it on my desk.
I will put it on your desk.
Has anybody seen
this behind you.
Austin Harrison's not here. Shondella's not here.
Like husband.
Hey, Giselle, did you take the test? You have one? Okay. Because you've been absent a lot lately, so I didn't know. I thought you were absent. I know Shondella's. Oh! You know who I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of a different class. Don't worry about it.
This is just interesting.
Let's keep using him, man.
Alright, guys.
Stop.
Alright, so right now you're looking at your test. Everybody's got a test, is that correct? Jonathan, did you get a test back? Alright, did anybody say no? Alright, so everybody's got a test right now. Right now you're looking at your test grade, alright, and seeing which questions you have. I've got the test pulled up here on the board. I'll go ahead and tell you I made some mistakes. So that's one reason we're going over the test right now, is because I accidentally marked some problems wrong in the other classes that didn't end up being wrong. So that's one reason we're going over the test that you need to pay attention for, just to double check and make sure I didn't screw up your grade, because I graded like 120 of these things in like 3 hours. Alright, so I was going super quick and I was just marking X's all over the place. Alright, so check and make sure that I didn't screw up your grade. We're going to do it page by page, so we're just going to look at the first page. So if you have a question on one of the other pages, I'll get to it. Right now we're just going to look at the first page, and then we'll go on from there. Did you get a test back?
Yeah, she has it.
She's looking at your test for you?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Alright, so right now, just looking at the first page, does anybody have any questions on 1 through 5? Alright, Ruben.
Number one. Yeah, number one.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Ruben. Alright, Ruben, number 1. Alright, so yeah, let's look at number 1. A lot of classes have had questions about number 1. So we're talking about finding the area. Alright, and we have the formula for the area of a trapezoid. They tell you that in the problem. So a lot of people just go and use this formula. They plug in the height. It tells you the height is 600 centimeters. Plug in the base 1, they tell you is 4 meters, and base 2, they tell you is 5 meters. So a lot of people, when they do this problem, you just plug right in, and you get that the answer is, I think, D. A lot of people think that the answer ends up being D. That's not correct, alright? The answer is not D, because you can't just go and plug into the formula. There is a problem with the units. What's wrong with the units? They're not all the same unit, exactly right. So, whenever we're talking about units, we want all to be the same unit. So let's look and see which ones we want to change. We've got centimeters, we have meters, and meters again. Alright? But all of the answers are in what? Meters. All of the answers are in meters. So that tells me I need to change
Centimeters.
I need to change the 600 centimeters to meters. So, the way that I remember how to do it is that anagram. Does anybody know?
Yeah. Kangaroos. Hop, down, banks,
Hold on. Kangaroos, hop, down, banks, drinking, chocolate, milk. That's not the one I know. The one I know is King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. Either way, though, it's the same letters, and that's what we want. We want those letters up there. So what do we have? What are we starting with?
Centimeters.
We're starting with centimeters. Alright, that's right here. C is 600 centimeters. And we want to change the centimeters into what? Into meters. Where is the meters at?
Your base.
That's my base unit, right? Meters, liters, and grams. Those are all your base unit. So we want to go here to the base unit. So how many places do I need to move?
2.
We're going 2 places. Which way?
To the left.
To the left. So I'm going to take my decimal and move it 2 places to the left. And so 600 centimeters is how many meters?
6 meters.
It ends up being 6 meters. Exactly right. Alright. Alright, so now we've got 6 meters here. 4 meters is my base and 5 meters is my other base. Now I can plug it all in. So somebody other than Selena, tell me what this ends up being when I plug in everything.
27.
Well, hold on, just write it out for me. What is it before you work it out?
4.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Here, let's do one person. Keela, I heard you first.
No,
Kayla.
Kayla.
4. Wait, 1/2
1/2
times 6.
times the 6 that we changed times
4
4
plus 5.
plus 5. And the first thing we can simplify, the 4 plus 5, is 9. And then we can do 9 times 6 is 54. And 1/2 of 54 ends up being 27, which is your answer. Answer B. B as in boy. So that was number 1. Does that help out, Ruben? What did you end up doing wrong? Was it the units?
No, I forgot to do that.
Oh, you forgot to change the 600. That was the most common mistake.
I changed the 4 to 400, 5 to 500.
Oh, you changed all of them in the
And I
centimeters.
left it alone. I forgot to do it.
Oh, okay. You changed all of them in the centimeters. Yeah, and that could be confusing. I could see how maybe you would want to change them all into centimeters. That's why we looked at the answer to see what all the answers are in. And that determined what unit we're going to change it to. What answer do they want? Alright. So on the first page, the first one ended up being B as in boy. The second one was C as in Charlie. The third one was A as in alpha.
I put A and you marked it wrong.
Okay, I'm going to fix that. Oh, wait. No. She got this one wrong. It's not A, it's C. It should go B, C, C, B, B.
Alright.
Oh, I'm sorry. I accidentally told you number 3 was A. It is not A. Number 3 is C. Yes, Steven. I marked your number 5 wrong. You,
What's number 5?
alright, so last time, check it. B, C, C, B, B. That's what your first page should look like. Did anybody else have a question on the first page? Before I go on, does anybody else have one that they want me to do? Ruben. Oh, we already heard from Ruben. Over here.
Number 3.
Is that the one you want to help on anyways? 3? Number 3. Real quick, number 3, we're talking about coefficients. So you're going to need to know what's a coefficient in order to do what are the coefficients in the problem. So who can tell me what a coefficient is? Makai, what's a coefficient?
I thought it was looking at numbers multiplied by x.
Huh?
I thought it was the numbers multiplied by x.
It's a number multiplied by x, or a number next to a variable. When two things are next to each other, that's multiplication. So he's right. It's a number being multiplied by x. Alright? That's what we're looking for. Right now, if you just looked at the numbers being multiplied by x, you would have 8, -7, and 10. Alright? So I see why a lot of people thought the answer was A. But there's 2 things wrong with answer A.
It's not simplified.
First, it's not simplified. It says what are the coefficients in the simplified expression. So the very first thing you should always be looking to do is simplify. How can I simplify this?
And 10, yeah.
The 10x and the what?
Negative 7.
Those are what?
Shut up.
What are those? Those are like terms, so we can combine like terms. And negative 7x and positive 10x ends up being
Positive 3.
positive 3x. So we've got 8x squared plus 3x minus 3. And that's my simplified expression.
That's a 2, not a 3.
No, it's a 3.
No.
Oh, I see what you mean. The exponent is a 2. You're right. So now, taking the definition that Mackay told us, a coefficient is a number being multiplied by a variable. What numbers up here are being multiplied by variables? 8 and 3. Do I say that the coefficient is 8x and 3x?
No.
It's just the number, right? 8x squared is the term. So my answer would be C down here. Would be that one. Questions? Alright, let's flip it over to the next page. Second page. Do you have a question? Alright. Alright, going down to the second page. Guys. Alright. Whoops. Second page right here, number 6. So, first I'm going to tell you the answers, and then you can raise your hand and ask me which questions you have. 6 should have been A. 7 was D. 8 was B or D. I counted 8 as either B or D. If you put either one of those, I counted it correct. Because I messed up. And when I get to 8, I'll show you how I messed up. Number 9 should have been C. And number 10 was A. So that's what you got for the second page. So now look over your answers and raise your hand if you have a question on any one of those. 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. Anybody? Huh?
How'd you mess up?
Yeah, like on number 8.
Oh, number 8, how did I mess up? So the reason I counted number 8 either way was because it shouldn't have been an inequality symbol. It should have been an equal symbol right there. Alright, the inequality symbol was incorrect because it asks a family cell phone plan is $60 per month, so no matter what they're going to pay $60, plus they're going to pay 20 cents for each minute that they go over, and you know that they paid $108.60. They paid exactly $108.60. Alright, it wouldn't be an inequality because they're not going to pay less than $108 and they're not going to pay more than $108. So it should be an equal to symbol there for they paid equal to $108.60. And I accidentally put inequality symbols greater than and less than on the answers. So I counted either one of the answers correct because it shouldn't have been it should have just been 243. Not x is greater than 243, not x is less than 243. It was x is equal to. So technically neither one of those answers are correct, but if you put 243, which if you did the problem correctly, you got x is 243, you didn't know which one to choose, B or D, so I counted them both correct. And then that's what the equation should have ended up being, that you solved to get 243. So yeah, good question. How did I screw up? That's one of many ways that I screwed up, probably. Alright. Anybody else on the second page? Anybody need me to repeat any of the answers or go over any of them? Alright, number 9. Number 9 is a good one to look at. So let's look at this bacteria that doubles every 7 hours. We've got a type of bacteria doubling every 7 hours. And they tell you that you start with 36 bacteria. So we want to know, after 28 hours, how many bacteria are we going to have? There's 2 different ways to approach this problem. The first way to approach it is to look at the equation. Alright? Well, there's 2 ways we can write an equation. If it's a linear equation, it's going to be y equals mx plus b. But this is a what type of equation?
is
ABX.
AB to the X, which is what?
Y equals
Y equals AB to the X. That's not linear, that's... Does anybody remember the name for that?
Exponential.
Exponential, right.
That boy is smart.
Linear, remember the difference between linear and exponential? Linear equations increase the same amount each time. So like you're adding 100, plus 100, plus 100, plus 100. They go up by 100 each time. Exponential equations go up by a different amount each time. They start out going small amounts, and then they increase and go up very big amounts each time. And that's what's happening here. We're doubling it. But every time you double it, it's not the same. The first time we double it, we're going to go up by 36. 36 times 2, add 36. But then the next time we double it, it's not going up 36 again, it's going up 72. So let's look at the other way. Well, first let's finish writing the equation. Who can tell me what the equation is?
36 times 2.
Y equals A. Why did you say A was 36?
That's your,
Start with that one.
started with.
That's your initial value. That's what you start with. And then times what?
Two.
Times 2 because you were what?
Double.
Doubling. So when we double something, we times it by 2. Raised to the x power, where x is the number of times we're going to double it. So now let's look at a table for this problem, because it's always good to look at tables. If x is 0, that means we doubled it 0 times. How many bacteria are there?
36.
36. That's what we start with. What if I double it 1 time? How many bacteria? What did you say? 72. If I double it twice, that's going to be 144. 72 times 2. If I've doubled it 3 times, that's going to be
288.
288. And if I double it 4 times,
576.
that's going to be 576. Alright? So now we've made a table representing how many bacteria there are after each time I double them. Now let's look at the time. Alright? Because we double them every 7 hours. So that means once every 7 hours is when I double it. So if I've doubled it once, how many hours went by? 7 hours. So that's 7 hours. What if I double it twice? That's 14 hours, correct. What if I've doubled it 3 times? 21 hours. And then, how many times am I going to double it in 28 hours? How many times am I going to double it in 28 hours? 4 times. That's 28 hours, correct. So if I double it 4 times in 28 hours, once every 7 hours, that's going to be 4 times. How many bacteria are there?
576.
C, 576. Alright, C. So, there was 2 ways you could have done that. You could have made the table, or we could have used the equation, where x would have been, what? 4, because we're doubling it 4 times. So if you typed in 36 times 2 to the 4th power, that would also give you 576. So there was 2 ways to attack this problem, the table or the equation, and we did both of them in class. Alright, good questions so far, guys. Any other questions on the 2nd page before we flip it over? Alright, number 11. So flip over to the 3rd page. And right here, I'm going to need you guys to raise your hands if you put A for number 11 and I marked it wrong. So keep your hands raised if you put A for number 11 and I marked it wrong. That was my mistake. A was the correct answer.
I don't have a clue what to do now. I don't have a clue what to do now.
No, he counted right.
What?
Oh, well, I can't switch it over there.
Alright,
No, I can't turn it over there. I'm supposed to turn it over there, and I can't.
He gonna
The students can't be here.
He's still counting right, girl.
No, it's being put at the board because I can't put it over there.
Alright, keep your hands raised. I'm coming around if you put A.
I noticed it.
He's gonna start again. Watch.
I'm saying out this thing.
They just want to do it when he looks.
He told me.
What a lovely word.
You got ready.
Tell me that
He's like, nah. Everybody was telling me.
Yeah, bye-bye. What's up, bye? Come on, bye-bye.
You make it first.
What?
I got it educated wrong.
Mr. Press.
I'm chilling right now.
You didn't get it?
Chilling.
Oh.
Wait. How did I get that wrong?
What? Oh, sorry.
Who?
No, why he counting right?
Alright, did I get everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now let's go. Now let's go and look at number 11 real quick. Alright, so bring it back in, guys. Like I said, I made a mistake. I accidentally marked C. I thought C, when I was grading it really quick, I just glanced at it and I put C as the correct answer. Whereas when I went back and looked at it, I realized I messed up. A was the correct answer. But you guys are all smarter than me. You guys all put A, so good job. And I gave you back your 5 points. So let's look at 11 real quick. Let's look at 11. So your equation, y equals the number of ringtones, how much you're going to spend on ringtones. We spend $1.50 times X. What does X represent? The number of ringtones that you downloaded. Plus, no matter how many ringtones you download, you're going to pay how much?
$10.
The $10 monthly fee. So it doesn't matter how many X's, no matter what, I'm going to pay 10. So now let's talk about the equation graphically. Alright? Yeah. Graphically, what is the 10?
It is the y-intercept.
The y-intercept. Alright? Not the y, but the y-intercept. The 10, if you're thinking about it, y equals mx plus b, the 10 is the plus b part, the y-intercept part. So where is my y-intercept on my graph?
On the y-axis.
That's where my line crosses my y-axis. And this tells me that should be at 10. Which two graphs right away can you mark out? Yeah, this has a y-intercept of what? 0. And this has a y-intercept of, it looks like 1.5. Alright? It looks like they were trying to trick you. So that one looks like 1.5. That's not 10 though. That's the slope. So we wouldn't put our y-intercept there. So right away you had to know that the answer was either A or C. Now let's look at the slope. 1.5 over 1. That means I'm going to go up $1.5 for every one ringtone that I download. So right here, B, how much am I going up?
10.
I go from 10 to 20, that's up 10 and over 1. That's too much. Alright, that says my slope is up 10 over 1. That's too much. My slope is not up 10 over 1. My slope is up 1.5 over 1. So right away, I know that this could not be it. This is going too steep. Alright, so now let's look at A. For A, I'm going from 10 to a little bit less than 10, just right under, or I'm sorry, a little bit less than 12, just right under 12, about 1.5. I'm going from 10 up about 1.5, over just a little bit less than 2, and over 1. So my slope is up 1.5 and over 1 there. which is my equation A. So you guys did good on that one. Good job. And then number 12, if you're checking your number 12, the answer should have been D. Alright, let's flip it over to the last page. The last page, and Ruben's already got a question. You don't want me to tell you the answers yet?
Go ahead, tell the Abba.
Alright, I'll tell you the answers and then you can ask me your question. Number 13 is D. D is in Dan. 14. 14 was A. Is in Alpha. 15. 15 was C. Is in Charlie. And then 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20 I'll put up on the board since those are free response answers. Does anybody have a question about 13, 14, or 15?
You might mine wrong.
I marked yours, which one wrong?
15.
I marked your 15 wrong, and you had a question about 15? Alright, so 15 I said was C, and you put C,
Yeah.
and I marked it wrong?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so I will
Here's the
fix it.
answers.
That's not the answers.
No, they're all wrong.
Alright, you have a pen? Alright, good job. That's why we're doing this, make sure that I don't make mistakes. I do make mistakes, so that's why we're checking these. Alright, and then you had a question about 15. So let's go over 15 real quick. So 15, she's buying a plane ticket to New York City. She has a coupon for a 15% discount. Alright, so I've got a plane ticket, I've got a 15% discount, and I know that the total cost of the plane ticket is $253. So if I'm writing an equation, I can think of it in terms of the plane ticket, so the cost of the ticket. What am I going to do with the discount?
You're gonna subtract it.
I'm going to subtract. Ruben, you're talking. I'm going to subtract the discount. So the plane ticket minus the discount, and I know that's going to equal my total, and they tell me my total is $253. So once you think about it in words, it always helps to think about things in words, and then go back and plug in the numbers. The plane ticket, do I know how much that is?
No.
So that's going to be my what?
X.
X is what I'm looking for. My discount is 15%. I'm taking away 15%. That's going to be 0.15 is a decimal times X. Exactly right. You can't just put 0.15. That would be subtracting 15 cents. It's not a 15-cent discount. It's a 15% discount. The discount depends on what X is. So you have to multiply 0.15 times X. So good job there. And then you know that all of that equals 253.30. And so, if my plane ticket is 100% and I'm subtracting 15%, how much am I really going to pay?
85.
I'm really going to pay 85% of the cost of the ticket. I'm not going to pay 100%, that would be full price. I'm only going to pay 85%. And when you do 1 minus 0.15, that's what you get. You get 0.85 or 85% of the plane ticket equals 253. But I'm actually going too far already. We already knew the answer from this. It was answer C. X minus 15% equals 253. I'm solving it right here. And then I could solve it by dividing by 0.85 on both sides and figure out that the plane ticket is going to be like $300 something. Alright? So C was 15. Alright, let's look at the free response answers, and then we are done. Check your free response answer. The first one, you're filling out the table for the population of the town. It should be 8,000, and then it's like 76. Does anybody have it? 7680. And then the next one's like 73, 73, 72, and then the last one I think is 70, 77. 7077. So it sounds like a lot of you guys had that. So good job there. Alright. If I want to write an equation for this, which you're going to have to do, my equation is exponential. Alright. Because I'm talking about a population. Populations increase exponentially. And also here, it says 4%. Anytime that you increase or decrease a percent, that's going to be an exponential equation. So y equals ab to the x is my general form for all exponential equations. What's the a going to represent?
8,000.
That's going to represent the 8,000, the initial population. So 8,000. And then here's the tough part. The b is the rate of change, the rate of increase or the rate of decrease. Here I'm decreasing by 4%, but I'm not going to put 0.04 there. I'm not going to go from 100% to 4%. I'm going from 100% to what?
100.
That would increase
You to 96.
to 96%. Exactly. I'm going from having 100% to subtracting 4% from that. So that's going to be 96%. If I was adding 4%, I heard somebody say 104, that would be if the population was increasing at a rate of 4%. That would be plus 4% there. So that's my equation, and then you can fill out the table by plugging in the number of years, and that will do all of the math for you. 17. So it doubles. So again, we've got something doubling. It starts out with 9. So if it's doubled 0 times, there's 9. Doubled once, there's 18. Doubled twice, there's 36. Doubled 3 times is 72. And the equation for this one would be y equals 9 times 2 because we're doubling, that's timesing 2, to the x. So there would be my equation for that one. And the reason I wrote down the equations, well, you should have had the equations anyways, but so we could look at number 18. Number 18, how can you tell if something is exponential growth or exponential decay just by looking at the equations? Does anybody remember how I tell if something's growth or decay? Okay.
Oh,
Ruben, you think you remember?
yeah, if it's greater than 1,
If what's greater than 1?
I don't know if it's greater than 1 is growth.
Huh?
I just know if it's greater than 1 is growth.
What did you say? The rate. If the rate is greater than 1, then it's going to be a growth. So right here, we're looking for if the rate is bigger than 1, it's going to be a growth. Which one of these equations was a growth? 16 or 17?
17.
17 was a growth. What is the rate on 17?
2.
It's 2. Is 2 greater than 1? Yeah, so right away, just from looking at that equation, I knew that this was going to be a growth because the rate is bigger than 1. What about decay? How do I know just by looking at an equation if something's a decay? What? A decay would have a rate between 0 and 1. Exactly right. Which one of these equations was a decay? 16. It goes down, right? Decay means it's going down. And what is the rate? 0.96. That is between 0 and 1. It's not quite 1. It's a little bit smaller than 1. So I knew just from looking at that equation it's going to go down. So 18 was probably the most missed question. Alright? And that's what it was. So that's the definition that you got to know. And then 19, what are the terms? The terms are 6x to the third, comma, the second term is 4x, comma, the third term is -3. And probably the biggest mistake here was people just put 3. If you only put 3 in that -3, I took off a point. And the last one, the cost of having your car towed, you got to write an equation. Y equals, it costs $3.5 per minute. So X is the number of minutes miles that you have to tow your car. Plus, just to hook it up, he's going to charge you a $45 fee. That's a constant fee. Just to hook up your car. It doesn't matter how many miles you go. Just to come and get it, he's going to charge you that $45. So that was your equation. Y equals 3.5x plus 45. Whew, we're out. Alright, so a couple things on the test. Like I said, we already fixed that one problem that I messed up for most people. Also remember, Talara, Lauren, is that it? Just the two of you? Get extra credit. So Talara and Lauren, you guys get 10 points extra credit. Sorry, Talara, you get 9. Lauren, you get 10. And then
No problem.
everybody, I'm probably going to curve the test. I haven't decided how much yet, but it will be somewhere between 5 points to 10 points.
10 points.
So I haven't decided yet. I'm going to look at the grades. So your grade will go up a little bit from what it was already. Last question.
Are you gonna put my new grade into the thing or the program?
Yeah, I'm going to put the curved grades into the thing. But they won't be there for the report card. I didn't do that in time. Alright, pass up your test. And for the last 11 minutes of class, it should be silent reading. Since it's Friday, we have silent reading. And you can quit recording me now. It's just creepy.
Dun, dun,
Actually, you're
dun, dun.
creepy.
I know. Do I just press the right button?
Probably not.
Congratulations.